In the early morning light of a small, dusty train station, Amara Wilson stood alone, clutching a worn leather suitcase. The delicate hat she had chosen with care felt oddly out of place amidst the rough wooden benches and the low murmur of distant conversations. She had traveled thousands of miles, 3 weeks on cramped trains and crowded platforms, to escape the relentless discrimination of the city. 6 months of letters, filled with hope and dreams, had led her here, to a new life promised by Harold Pierce, a widowed millionaire farmer from the Midwest. But as Harold laid eyes on Amara for the first time, the warmth he had expressed in his letters melted into cold hesitation. "This isn't going to work," he muttered, his voice barely audible over the clatter of arriving trains. "You didn't mention that you're black," Harold said, unable to meet her gaze. Amara's heart sank, the weight of rejection crashing down in a single, unbearable moment. The promise of a fresh start, a life free from prejudice, felt shattered, like the delicate hat perched on her head, suddenly ridiculous and out of place. Around them, curious glances gathered. The small town of Riverbrook wasn't accustomed to seeing a black woman arrive as a prospective bride. The spectacle was painful but undeniable. Harold, shifting uncomfortably, offered to pay for her ticket back, but Amara had nowhere to return to. Not really. As she stood there, bewildered and hurt, a tall figure approached. Alexander Maxwell, the very millionaire farmer who had once been a name on a letter, now a man with a presence as commanding as the wide-open fields he owned. What happened next would change everything, not just for Amara, but for the entire town. Alexander Maxwell's gaze swept over the tense scene at the station. He saw Amara standing tall despite the humiliation, her dignity unwavering even as Harold recoiled in discomfort. The murmurs of the crowd, the pointed looks, they all faded into the background as Alexander stepped forward. "Harold," Alexander's voice was firm, carrying the weight of a man used to command. "Is this how you treat a woman who came all this way with hope?" Harold shifted, unable to meet the penetrating stare. "Alexander, it's complicated. The town, the community." Alexander cut him off. "Complicated? Is that what you call it? Rejecting a woman because of the color of her skin?" Amara watched the exchange, feeling a cautious flicker of hope amidst the storm. Alexander turned to her, his tone softer now. "Miss Wilson, I'm sorry you've been treated this way. It's not right, and it's not what this town should stand for." Her eyes searched his face, looking for sincerity, and found it. Alexander extended his hand. "If you'll have me, I'd like to offer you a different future. One where you're valued, respected, and loved." The crowd watched, whispers turning to gasps. A black woman, rejected by one millionaire, now offered a new chance by another, one with kindness in his eyes and strength in his stance. Amara took a deep breath and accepted his hand. The promise of a new beginning glimmered brighter than any city lights she'd ever known. And for Alexander, meeting Amara was the start of a journey that would challenge old prejudices and open his heart to love beyond color. The days that followed brought a whirlwind of change for Amara and Alexander alike. Alexander took her to his sprawling farmstead, a place where golden fields stretched to the horizon, kissed by the soft sunlight. The scent of fresh earth and growing crops was a balm to Amara's weary soul. Though the town whispered and watched, Alexander stood unwavering beside her. He introduced her to his staff and neighbors, not as a charity case, but as his partner. Amara, for her part, embraced the rhythm of rural life with a determined grace. She learned the nuances of farm management, the cycles of planting and harvest, the unspoken codes of community and cooperation. But it was more than the land that changed. It was the transformation in her own heart. After years of rejection and pain, she found a place where love was possible, where her worth was seen beyond skin deep. Alexander was equally transformed. His world, once confined by the expectations of tradition and community, expanded by the courage and wisdom of the woman he had come to cherish. Their bond grew in the quiet moments, shared meals, evening walks beneath vast starlit skies, conversations about hopes and fears, dreams and histories. In the face of lingering prejudice, they built a partnership rooted in mutual respect, resilience, and love that transcended the boundaries others tried to impose. Together, they were rewriting a story, not just of a mail-order bride or a millionaire farmer, but of two souls united against the odds. As word spread throughout Riverbrook, reactions were mixed. Some townsfolk clung to old prejudices, whispering behind closed doors, skeptical of the union between a wealthy white farmer and a black woman. Others, inspired by Alexander's unwavering support and Amara's grace, began to reconsider their own biases. One afternoon, a gathering was held at the local church, a place that had long been a center for both community and controversy. Alexander and Amara attended together, hand in hand, facing the curious eyes and hushed conversations with quiet dignity. During the meeting, the pastor spoke about love, compassion, and the importance of unity. He challenged his congregation to look beyond skin color and embrace the humanity in one another. Slowly, the room's atmosphere shifted, from skepticism to tentative acceptance. Meanwhile, Amara started engaging with local women's groups and community initiatives, eager to build bridges and contribute beyond the farm. Her intelligence and kindness won many hearts, softening the town's resistance. Alexander continued to advocate fiercely for her, confronting neighbors who showed hostility and demonstrating through his actions that Amara was not only his partner, but a respected member of the community. Their journey wasn't easy. There were nights of whispered threats and cold shoulders. But each challenge only strengthened their resolve. Together, they proved that love could be a force powerful enough to transform hearts, communities, and long-standing divides. As seasons changed, so did the community's perception of Amara and Alexander's relationship. The initial murmurs of disapproval began to fade into conversations of admiration for the couple's resilience and dedication. Amara's presence brought fresh energy to the farm. She applied her keen intellect to modernizing operations, introducing sustainable farming techniques and innovative management practices that impressed even the most seasoned workers. Her determination and success slowly challenged the stereotypes held by many in the town. Younger generations, especially young women of color, saw in her a trailblazer, proof that barriers could be broken with perseverance. Alexander's support remained steadfast. He made it clear that Amara was his equal partner, and his respect for her only grew deeper with each passing day. Their love story became a symbol, not only of romantic devotion, but of unity overcoming division. Together, they hosted gatherings on the farm, inviting neighbors to share meals and stories, fostering understanding and friendship. Amara's warmth and kindness began to weave a new fabric within the community, one that was inclusive and hopeful. The broken barriers were not entirely gone, but they were cracking, light pouring through the fissures. And in the quiet moments between planting and harvest, Alexander and Amara dreamed of a future where their love would be a seed for lasting change. One crisp autumn morning, as the golden leaves drifted lazily from the trees, Alexander and Amara stood together on the porch overlooking the vast fields. The farm was alive with activity, the culmination of hard work and shared vision. Amara had grown into a leader not just on the farm, but in the community, her voice carrying weight in local discussions about equality and progress. She had become a mentor to young women aspiring to forge their own paths, offering guidance rooted in experience and empathy. Alexander marveled at her transformation, from the nervous bride at the station to a pillar of strength and inspiration. His respect and admiration deepened daily. The couple had faced storms, prejudice, skepticism, and moments of doubt, but their bond remained unshaken, forged in mutual respect and unwavering love. Together, they hosted an annual harvest festival, a celebration that had become a symbol of unity for Riverbrook. The event brought together diverse neighbors, bridging divides with food, music, and shared stories. At the heart of the festival, Amara's ring gleamed, a testament to her journey, her resilience, and the love that had blossomed against all odds. Their story echoed through the fields and streets, a narrative of courage, hope, and the transformative power of acceptance. And as twilight settled over the farm, the promise of a brighter tomorrow felt as tangible as the earth beneath their feet. With the Harvest Festival becoming an annual tradition, the sense of community in Riverbrook began to flourish in new and unexpected ways. Neighbors who once regarded each other with suspicion now gathered together, sharing laughter and stories beneath the harvest moon. Amara and Alexander's partnership had become more than a union of two people. It was a beacon of hope, a living example of how love and understanding could transcend old prejudices. Amara's involvement in local education initiatives expanded. She volunteered at the school, encouraging young girls to explore careers in agriculture, science, and leadership. Her presence inspired a new generation to dream bigger. Alexander, too, took on the role of mentor, sharing his knowledge of business and farming with aspiring entrepreneurs. He emphasized the importance of integrity, hard work, and embracing diversity as a source of strength. Together, they fostered a culture of inclusion and respect that rippled throughout the town. New faces arrived, drawn by the promise of a community willing to grow and evolve. Yet, they remained mindful that change was a journey, not a destination. They continued to face challenges, confront biases, and advocate for equity at every turn. Through it all, the ring on Amara's finger was a silent witness to their resilience, a symbol of the love and determination that had rewritten their story and, in turn, the story of Riverbrook itself. And as the stars shone brightly overhead, Amara and Alexander looked toward the future with hope, ready to face whatever came next, together. As time passed, the impact of Amara and Alexander's love and leadership blossomed beyond the borders of Riverbrook. Nearby towns and even distant cities began to hear of the unlikely partnership that challenged societal norms and inspired change. Amara's story was shared in newspapers, on radio programs, and in community gatherings, portrayed not as a tale of romance alone, but as a testament to courage, dignity, and the power of standing tall in the face of adversity. She spoke at conferences and workshops, sharing her experiences as a Black woman who refused to be defined by rejection or prejudice. Her voice carried the weight of lived truth and the light of hope. Alexander continued to support these efforts, advocating for racial equity and social justice in broader circles. He used his influence to open doors for those historically marginalized, championing initiatives in education, business, and community development. Together, they fostered networks of support and empowerment that extended far beyond their farm. The ring on Amara's finger, once a simple token of marriage, had become a symbol of transformation, of a love that transcended color, of resilience in the face of rejection, and of a future reimagined. Their journey reminded many that barriers could be broken, stereotypes challenged, and new paths forged when hearts and minds opened to possibility. And as they continued their work, they carried with them the knowledge that their story was part of a larger movement, one built on justice, equality, and the enduring power of love. The influence of Amara and Alexander's story inspired many to take a closer look at their own communities and the prejudices that lingered beneath the surface. Grassroots movements sprouted, fueled by a renewed commitment to inclusivity and equity. Amara's involvement grew deeper as she collaborated with local organizations to create programs supporting minority-owned businesses and promoting cultural understanding. Her efforts helped open doors for entrepreneurs who had long struggled for recognition and resources. Alexander used his considerable resources to fund scholarships and training programs, ensuring that young people from diverse backgrounds had access to education and opportunities that would set them on paths to success. Together, they worked tirelessly to dismantle systemic barriers, knowing that true change required not just moments of courage, but sustained commitment. Community festivals, workshops, and forums became common, creating spaces where voices once silenced could be heard and valued. The ring on Amara's finger continued to shine, a symbol of the love and strength that fueled their shared mission. Through setbacks and victories, their partnership endured, rooted in mutual respect and a shared vision of a more just and compassionate world. Their story became a beacon, a reminder that even in the face of rejection and adversity, hope can flourish and lives can be transformed. And as they looked ahead, Amara and Alexander knew their journey was far from over, but every step forward was a triumph worth celebrating. With the foundation of their efforts firmly established, Amara and Alexander turned their attention to creating lasting institutions. They helped establish community centers offering vocational training, cultural programs, and support services tailored to the needs of diverse populations. Amara took pride in mentoring young women who saw her not just as a mechanic or a bride, but as a symbol of possibility. She reminded them that their worth was inherent and that perseverance could break even the toughest barriers. Alexander expanded his philanthropic ventures, investing in education, healthcare, and economic development initiatives designed to uplift underserved communities. Their partnership exemplified the power of combining personal passion with strategic vision, a model for sustainable social change. Despite the accolades and achievements, both remained humble, aware that progress was ongoing and that every success was built on the efforts of countless others before them. The ring on Amara's finger continued to be a source of strength, a reminder of love, commitment, and the shared journey that had transformed their lives and the lives of many. Together, they forged ahead, driven by the belief that a more equitable and compassionate world was not just a dream, but a goal within reach. Their story became a legacy, one of courage, love, and the enduring impact of choosing hope over fear. And as the sun set over the fields and the city lights twinkled in the distance, Amara and Alexander looked forward with hearts full of promise. The couple's story began to inspire others beyond their immediate community. Universities invited Amara to speak about resilience and breaking barriers, while Alexander engaged with policymakers to promote inclusive economic growth. Together, they launched scholarship funds targeting young people from marginalized backgrounds who aspired to careers in agriculture, technology, and entrepreneurship. Their goal was to create a pipeline of talent equipped to lead future generations. In the local school district, programs were introduced to teach students about diversity, equity, and the power of perseverance, lessons inspired by Amara and Alexander's journey. Their farmstead became a hub for cultural exchange, educational workshops, and community celebrations that bridged gaps and fostered understanding. Even those once skeptical found themselves drawn to the couple's genuine commitment to unity and progress. The ring on Amara's finger, a symbol of personal love, had blossomed into an emblem of communal hope and transformation. Through challenges and victories, Amara and Alexander remained steadfast partners, navigating the complexities of change with grace and determination. Their journey stood as a beacon for those still fighting their own battles, reminding them that love and resilience could rewrite even the most stubborn narratives. And as the seasons turned, the couple continued building a legacy that would inspire for generations to come. As the years went by, Amara and Alexander's influence continued to grow, shaping not only their community, but also inspiring a broader movement toward inclusion and equality. Their foundation expanded its reach, providing support not only for vocational training, but also for health, housing, and social services. Recognizing the interconnected nature of empowerment, Jasmine, a young woman inspired by Amara's story, graduated from the Mechanics Academy and began her own journey breaking barriers. She often credited Amara's mentorship and example as pivotal in her success. Alexander worked alongside local leaders to implement policies encouraging minority-owned businesses and equitable access to resources, understanding that systemic change required both grassroots and institutional efforts. Together, they fostered partnerships across sectors, blending business acumen with social advocacy to create sustainable progress. Through it all, the ring on Amara's finger symbolized the enduring commitment that had transformed their lives and their world, a quiet yet powerful reminder of love's ability to inspire change. Their story became a cornerstone of hope, proving that even the deepest divides could be bridged through courage, respect, and shared vision. And as they looked toward the future, Amara and Alexander knew their journey was just the beginning of a legacy that would ripple through time. As their work deepened, Amara and Alexander began focusing on fostering leadership within marginalized communities. They launched initiatives to train community organizers, young entrepreneurs, and advocates, empowering individuals to become catalysts for change in their own right. Amara's story became a cornerstone in leadership workshops, demonstrating how personal resilience could translate into broader societal impact. Her humility and authenticity made her a beloved figure and a role model for many aspiring leaders. Alexander leveraged his business network to connect these emerging leaders with resources, mentorship, and opportunities, bridging gaps between corporate and community spheres. Together, they hosted annual summits bringing together diverse voices to share strategies, celebrate successes, and build coalitions committed to equity and justice. Their partnership illustrated how love and shared purpose could transcend personal boundaries and ignite transformative social movements. Despite the scale of their achievements, they remained focused on the individuals, the stories behind the statistics, always remembering that true change begins with people. The ring on Amara's finger continued to symbolize not just a personal bond, but a promise to nurture and uplift every life touched by their work. And as the movement grew, so did the hope that a future built on respect, opportunity, and love was not only possible but inevitable. As their influence spread, Amara and Alexander embraced new challenges, expanding their foundation's work to include mental health resources, educational scholarships, and small business support tailored to marginalized communities. They recognized that empowerment was multifaceted, requiring support that addressed economic, emotional, and social well-being. Amara shared her own experiences with resilience and healing, encouraging openness about mental health and the strength found in vulnerability. Alexander collaborated with healthcare providers and educational institutions to create accessible programs, ensuring that support extended beyond traditional vocational training. Their approach was holistic, nurturing the whole person and fostering environments where individuals could thrive in all aspects of their lives. Community leaders praised the foundation's comprehensive model, noting its effectiveness in creating lasting, positive change. The ring on Amara's finger symbolized the depth and breadth of their commitment, not just to each other, but to the countless lives transformed through their efforts. Together, they continued to build bridges, challenge inequities, and inspire hope, showing that when compassion guides action, the possibilities for change are limitless. And as they looked toward the future, they carried with them the knowledge that love and resilience could rewrite even the most difficult stories. Years later, the farm where Amara first arrived, a place once marked by whispered judgments and reluctant acceptance, had blossomed into a symbol of transformation. The sprawling fields now bore the fruits of love, resilience, and unwavering commitment to justice. Amara and Alexander stood side by side beneath the shade of an ancient oak, surrounded by friends, family, and neighbors who had witnessed their journey from skepticism to celebration. The air was alive with laughter, music, and the vibrant spirit of a community united. Amara's ring caught the golden light of the setting sun, a silent testament to the path she had traveled. From rejection at a lonely train station to becoming a beloved leader, her story inspired countless others to embrace courage and hope. Alexander's hand found hers, their fingers intertwined, a symbol of partnership that had weathered storms and blossomed into something extraordinary. Together, they addressed the crowd, sharing stories of perseverance, love, and the power of seeing beyond surface differences. Their journey was more than a personal triumph. It was a beacon for anyone striving to break free from the constraints of prejudice and fear. As stars twinkled overhead, the gathering released lanterns into the night sky, each a flicker of hope, a promise of a future shaped by unity and compassion. The ring on Amara's finger shone brightly, embodying a legacy of strength and the enduring power of love to change lives and communities.